So I remember I was in either junior high or high school when this video came out. And at the time, I thought this was like an epic love song. And listening to it last night during the lunar eclipse, it occurred to me this is not a love song for another person at all. This is a love song for yourself. This is a lesson in how to love all of the parts of yourself. I actually believe that most love songs um, cannot realistically be directed at another person. They can only be directed towards yourself. Not all love songs, but an awful lot of them, because the expectations set out in a love song are so unrealistic. We can't expect anyone to deliver that kind of love to us. That kind of love can only be given to yourself. Anyway, that whole part of the video, the lyrics, the strange, bizarre characters. I have some really strange, bizarre characters inside of me. And some of them are lewd, and some of them are kind of gross, and some of them are ballerina ninjas. I don't know, but maybe you have some of those too. I don't know, but the sentiment is very much about these parts of herself are coming out of the woodwork, and she has to encounter them, and she has to interact with them. And some of these characters, she's kind of like seems a little grossed out in the video, and like, oh God, no, not that. And other characters in the video, she seems really drawn towards, and like, oh wait, let me meet you. And it's the same way for ourselves. Shadow work is all, it's a kind of parts work. So parts work is a term that basically means we have all these different parts of ourselves. So when someone says, well, part of me wants to have a burger, but part of me knows that I'll be happier having a salad because then I'll have more energy and I'll feel better and I won't have like a food coma afterwards. So that's identify how we identify different parts of ourselves. So far that's what this video has been about. But it gets better, because what makes me so happy about this video, and I think what touched me so deeply last night, is usually we only see the shadow. So when you're talking about archetypes and symbolism, usually we can recognize it through the shadow. So some names of archetypes, like the 4 most common archetypes are the victim, the child, the prostitute, and the saboteur. Those are all the negative qualities, that immediately come to mind. But nobody ever talks about the light. What is the light of the prostitute? A prostitute archetype is someone who sells out something of value, a part of themselves. And it doesn't have to be sexual at all. It can be like, okay, here's an example of my prostitute. I worked for a company, and my projects were all nuclear projects. We have really smart scientists and stuff. I don't actually believe that human beings have the competency at this point in time to actually deal with nuclear waste in a responsible way. And yet here I was as an accountant working on nuclear projects. So I prostituted myself out for money at a job. I wasn't selling my body, but I was selling out my values. And so the light of that archetype would be, stop doing that, stop selling yourself out, stop selling out your values, and come into alignment. In many ways, that my walkabout has healed a lot of this stuff for me too, because now I spend time not only connecting and rejuvenating myself in nature, but I'm giving it back to nature too. I'm sprinkling my own lifted vibe, and I'm doing my part through this kind of coaching work and stuff. I have some really idealistic traits where I see the world in a different way. I have my own unique wisdom, and I'm sharing it with people more and more. Like that's kind of the light of the prostitute. It's about becoming self-sufficient and autonomous, and taking responsibility. And even like the ascended version of the prostitute would be like giving it back and gifting your resources to the world if you have excess resources. So anyway, back to this video. Okay, so this part of the video is where it's the middle of the story. We saw the beginning. We're like, what's going on? What's the bizarre rules of this game? What are the hazards she's going to be encountering? And now this next section of the video is about the pitfalls and the failures and the shortcomings and the confusion and chaos. And this is the middle of the story. This is the part that we human beings kind of really suck at. And we all go through it and we all experience it. Some people just make it look better when they're winging it than others. Sometimes but everybody is always winging it. Like I just really believe that, you know. So yeah, so we're gonna see some chaos, some destruction, some falling apart, and the lyrics are about falling apart. So let's watch this part. All right, so you know the drill. So due to copywriting laws, I have a link to the music video that will start at the right part of the video. So it'll start at the second section of the video. So go ahead and look for that link somewhere around the page, and we will watch part 2 together. So this time you're going to want to be sure to pause the video when you get to 4 minutes and 32 seconds. And we'll talk about the second section of the video. See you in a few.